Hey fellow mutants, welcome back to another video. So you guys know, or if you guys been on this channel long enough, you guys would know that I think of Ahsoka in a high esteem. She is my favorite character from the Clone Wars. Um, I think that's, and I still do, think that she should have died in the hands of Darth Vader, despite her being my favorite Clone Wars character. And my second force using or force sensitive character in Star Wars, Luke Skywalker being the first. Um, but I have to say that despite me thinking that Ashoka Tano should have died at the hands of Darth Vader in the season 2 finale of Star Wars Rebels, I have enjoyed Rosario Dawson's depiction of Ahsoka in Mandalorian and Book of Boba. I think Rosario Dawson does do a pretty solid job of pulling off Ahsoka. So when I saw this article, I was like, this is interesting. Like, kind of interesting in terms of like, what are like four major ways that Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka differs from essentially the Ashley Eskine's Ahsoka. So let's give this a read, shall we? Ashoka Tano is a pretty popular character in the Star Wars franchise, and there's a slight difference between her animated incarnations and Rosario Dawson's live-action version. Now, somehow it wasn't until 2019, The Mandalorian Season 2 aired, that Ahsoka actually made the jump from animated shows to the live-action series. The version of the former Jedi that Dawson brings to life does end up slightly different. Slightly different than what came before her in other appearances, played by Ashley Eskine. Being different isn't bad. Characters evolve over time, and any new actor bringing the same person to life will incorporate their own quirks and flavors into the performances. So now we're getting to the differences between the animated and live action. The Laku of the former Jedi, and I guess the Laku just means like, I guess the closest thing I can say is like her hair is the Laku. That's what's close. Like for you, for people who are watching this that are not really like heavily into Star Wars as much as I am. It's like the closest description as I can tell you guys about the Laku from my understanding is her hair, per se, and it's not really hair. It's like a little like horns. But if you guys like watch look at the thumbnail of this video, you guys would see what I mean. So, anyways, generally when it comes to Chargruda, the length of their Laku is based on their age. This is why they were the shortest in the Clone Wars, where she was 14. For the 7th season, they end up being a fairly standard length when compared directly to humans with long hair. Many years later, even during the events of Star Wars Rebels, they are the longest compared to how they looked in the Clone Wars. They are far longer and more regal. However, when it came to bringing the character into live action, the Mandalorian's creative team felt like the need to make the Laku much shorter on her debut. The reasoning was a practical one. Longer ones were extremely difficult to work with for any sort of stunt, and also simply don't look very believable when in motion. So that's fair, because it will make it a bit hard to do any of those special tricks. I mean, I remember when I saw Ahsoka for the first time in live action, I wasn't exactly butthurt where her Lakus were shorter. I was okay with it. Thankfully for the upcoming series, they reworked her practical Leku, and they are notably longer. They are closer to length they were during the seventh season, and still aren't quite as magnificent as they were in Rebels. And here's the thing, like, I'm not trying to make excuses for it, because if you guys are mad about her Leku not be as long as Rebels and Clone Wars, I get it. But, like, I feel like, even don't understand why it's shorter with the live action adaptation than the animated adaptation. I, on the contrary, I can understand like if they decide to like CGI the rest of the length, like stretch it out a little bit further. Um, if they really put their minds to it, the Leku could easily, easily look seamless in the combat scenes too. A little bit of CGI goes a long way in some cases, and this could be one of those cases. Anyways, Ahsoka's feelings about the Jedi Order. One of the biggest events in Ahsoka's life was her expulsion from the Jedi Order. Before that, she had fun innocence to her. Even when tackling dark and brutal subjects within the Clone Wars. The Order's betrayal is something that stuck with her ever since it happened. It's a weight clearly visible on her shoulders across most of her appearances. Her experiences with the Jedi Order played a key role in how Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka responded to Mando's big ask to train Grogu in the ways of her former people. Admittedly, it seemed like her time with Luke Skywalker, witnessed in Book of Boba Fett, helped some of those feelings work themselves out. For the most part, she seems to be in a healthy spot, and that Jedi history isn't the weight it used to be. However, with Hayden Christensen's rumored role in Ahsoka, those memories and emotions will certainly still play into her upcoming show. And I kind of want to see that, like, I mainly want to see at least a little bit of struggle with her, like, with the Jedi Order, because she was, let's just say it, fucked over by the Jedi Order, essentially. And, yeah, that, like, Clone Wars Season 7, that one episode in Tales of the Jedi, in Rebels, and even in like the two episodes of that she was in live action. Even though, yeah, Book of Boba Fett, she was in a better spot than she was before when we saw her. But where like we saw like her like she still has love for the Jedi, but she's still somewhat hurt of what the Jedi did. And I would love to see like Ahsoka like overcoming that. Like, how does he overcome that? It's a pretty big thing to overcome because the Jedi essentially gave their middle fingers to her, say, "Yep, you were accused of this. Bitch, bye, Felicia." So that can take a long ass time to get over. And I would love to see like how she gets over that. If she gets over that, does she even get over it? It's a question. Or does he just learn to live with it better? So, anyways, Ahsoka Tano's purpose. When audiences first met Ahsoka Tano in the animated Clone Wars movie, her purpose is simply to impress her master, Anakin Skywalker. And I remember when she was introduced in the Clone Wars movie, it was in the minority where people enjoyed her, where people liked her. I liked her from the beginning. I loved the character from the beginning. In 2008, I loved her. I said, I got a good feeling about this character. And I was right, because now, after like 7 seasons of the Clone Wars, appearing in 2 seasons of Rebels, and 3 episodes in Tales of the Jedi, and like it says like 2 episodes in the Mandoverse, Ahsoka Tano is one of the most beloved characters in Star Wars. Despite what fans think about maybe she should have died in Order 66, maybe she should have died in her duel with Vader, maybe she should have survived both those events so we can get essentially like I don't know if there was audio issues because my screen went black, but maybe like she like should have like was like announced. There's some people might say maybe she should have like survived those two events so she can have more of an impact on the galaxy. So she like see what like the impact that she has in the Ahsoka show, and essentially the Dave Filoni's movie. Was as much as I love the character, I hope she dies in the Mandalorian Dave Filoni movie. Guess my fear with Ahsoka is Dave Filoni will keep her on way longer than she should, and that magic that she had will disappear. Like there's her death in season 2 of Rebels would have would have meant a lot. Like would have had a huge impact. In my opinion, on the whole Vader arc. In my opinion, anyways. More of an impact to say, but anyways. Over time, those aspirations obviously change and grow. She becomes a valued member of the Order until their betrayal, and one of the most trusted Jedi amongst all of the clone troopers. After the events of Order 66, the character loses her drive, becoming all but a hopeless drifter. However, all certain events, as seen in Tales of the Jedi, our purpose is to refocus on helping the Rebel Alliance. This is where fans meet her when Star Wars Rebels were around. While she may not be a proper Jedi, the movement against the Empire becomes her key focus and worry. It's unclear what she was up to following her rescue by the hands of Ezra Bridger in the Road Between Worlds. Hopefully, that missing chunk of time is something the Solo series explores. I think they meant the Ahsoka series, but anyways. Though, at some point prior to her time in The Mandalorian, and even into Ahsoka, Tano's purpose took from hunting down Grand Admiral Thrawn and Ezra Bridger, who are both missing after the events of Rebels finale. Funny enough, by the time the Book of Boba happens, it's not very clear what Ahsoka has been up to. Perhaps she was taking a sabbatical from hunting down Thrawn. And now we're getting to her demeanor. Starting from her debut, Ahsoka is rash, reckless, and snippy, much like her master. The Clone Wars goes on, her maturity develops. The biggest point in her journey is when she is wrongly expelled from the Jedi Order. After such a betrayal, her view of everything gets a new perspective. When she pops into Star Wars Rebels, she is clearly calmer and wiser. Ahsoka feels like a true leader and mentor. This Ahsoka gets even more mature and wizened. Wizened? Is that even a word? Anyways, sorry. This Ahsoka gets even more mature and wizened when her time in The Mandalorian rolls around. She is very centered and careful with every moment. The more rash version of the character looks to have been in the backseat for a while now. When she briefly appears in the Book of Boba, she somehow feels even more at peace. And that character deserves that, because she has been through hell, essentially. Hell and back. From Order 66, from getting wrongly expelled from the Jedi Order from something she didn't do. Order 66, thinking her master is dead, only to find out that he's alive as Darth Vader, practically knowing that a lot of her friends that she knew when she was young are more than likely dead at this point. Well, like, I say more than likely because, like, there might be, like, a few Jedi here and there that she might have known that survived. I say few because Disney has a Jedi Order 66 survivor issue. Anyways. So, like, there might be a few people here and there where she might know from her younger years. Like, R2-D2, for example. Clearly, she's still in contact with R2-D2 because Book of Boba shows R2 and Ahsoka in the same room. So, clearly, as of right now, R2 is the only one that we know for sure that Ahsoka still knows from her younger years. Maybe C-3PO, because they usually go in a pair. But, who knows? Anyways, Ahsoka's future in Star Wars. It's a shame it's taken so long for Ashoka Tano to finally get the spotlight she deserves. Needless to say, it's long overdue. Thankfully, she'll be sharing the stage with a handful of beloved Star Wars Rebels characters, as well as Ezra Bridger, Hera, Sabine Wren, and Thrawn. I think Zab, so the croissant, I think, from Rebels that we saw in Mando 3, Season 3. Anyways, I think he might be in there. Well, I'll be surprised if he's not a Lassant. Yeah. Anyways. But how different will Ahsoka be throughout her own series? It's already been hinted how fans will see her at multiple different points, such as before the Mandalorian and even leading up to the Miro scene of the end of Rebels. Ahsoka's journey across the show could be quite extensive in the case. The series will also be teeing up Ahsoka to appear in the Mandoverse event film with Dave Filoni, which doesn't currently have a release window. While Ahsoka's story may have used to be a few and fair between, it looks like Filoni and Lucasfilm are looking at to change that. Ahsoka lands on Disney Plus August 21st. So I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, Ahsoka is my favorite Clone Wars hero. She's my favorite Force sensitive after Luke. I will be giving the show a chance, even though I still think I'm in the camp where she should have died at the hands of Vader in season 2 of Rebels. But I have a lot of respect for the character. Like I said earlier in the video, I do enjoy Rosario Dawson's take on Ahsoka. I think she honors Ahsoka pretty well. Since it's Dave Filoni, I don't really have, I'm not that worried about the Ahsoka series, trashy on Ahsoka. I actually have the opposite effect. I have faith that Dave Filoni will honor Ahsoka, especially since that's his baby, and tell compelling stories. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you guys excited for the Ahsoka show? Let me know. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. And may the Force be with us all.